Okay, let's be serious, everybody. We're now doing Japanese. Okay, what's today? I've forgotten already.
Friday.
Wakata wa owari. Okay, there's that. And there's what's the other thing that I had up earlier? Oh, there it is. Sorry, give me a second, guys. Just trying to find the slide and the lesson. Need a bulletin slide. Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. So before we go anywhere, have excuse me, have any of you not seen this slide about ni and de? Put your hands up if you haven't seen this.
This is the slide.
This was only last week. Sorry, not this. Sorry, this one.
I read it just before.
Ah, okay. You haven't seen it, Piotr? Simon? You haven't seen it either. Okay, let's start here then. Right, let's go through this. So this is not unique to Japanese, but it's worth kind of considering so that I can provide a good excuse for getting something wrong that I taught you previously. So within the kind of multitude of verbs that are in any language, some of them can be grouped as existence verbs, some as what we call stative verbs in Japanese. I'm not sure if these actually exist in other languages, but this includes wakaru, to understand, kikoeru, to be able to hear, mieru, to be able to see. Also includes actually the existence verbs. Iru and aru are subsets of stative verbs. And then movement verbs, you know, iku, kuru, kairu. And then what we can kind of talk of as a new function of this, which is highlighting stuff you don't want to highlight. Action verbs. So this includes basically almost anything else that you do: eating, sleeping, using, making, etc. And then cutting through this is this river, which divides the transitive and intransitive verbs. Now, some of these tend towards one side of the bank. For example, the existence verbs tend to be on the intransitive side, but not exclusively. There are some on the transitive side. Stative verbs also mostly in the intransitive side, but again, not exclusively. Same with movement verbs. Action verbs, well, a large amount are on the transitive side, some are on the intransitive side. So the point of this slide is that there are various ways in which you can categorize verbs, and eventually you get to a point where you have groups or sets which are only one or two verbs in size. So it's not, in Japanese, it's the same as any other language. We could have difficulty in kind of making some simple rules about how to categorize verbs. The digger you deep, the more complex it becomes. That's not to say we shouldn't keep digging, but just be warned that simple rules normally have exceptions. And this is where we are today on this regarding ni and de. Now, I thought I had a rule in my head about the use of ni and de, which is actually on previous slides a few weeks ago. I showed it to you. Turns out it's not quite correct. It turns out it's a little bit more complicated. So where this came from is we started to use more YouTube videos and also using textbooks for doing exercises. And I noticed that when we were using the present continuous tense, in some videos and some textbooks, they were using de to mark the location. And I thought, this is weird. I thought this was a rule. Present continuous tense, for example, tabete imasu, the location should be marked with ni, because the verb, the primary verb, is imasu. Turns out that's not the case. So let's have a look through this and find out why. So some rules which are not altered. If we're using just movement verbs like iku, kuru, kairu, etc., then we still mark the direction or the destination with ni or e. So this includes iku, to go, kuru, to come, kairu, to go home, modoru, to return to a place, kaesu, to give something back. So now we're now jumped from the intransitive side of the river into transitive side with kaesu. Ireru, to put something in. This is also transitive. Ageru, to give something or to elevate something. This is transitive. Kureru, to give something down to you, to receive something basically. This is also transitive. Watasu, to pass something across, also transitive. Haeru, to enter a building. This is intransitive. And then noru, to get on a train, plane, train, or automobile. This is also intransitive. So the destination is always marked with ni in this case. In fact, with noru, there are also some exceptions, but we won't talk about those for now. Also, using ni, which aren't exactly movement verbs, there are some verbs which still need ni to mark a direction or destination. For example, if I'm looking, miru, if I'm watching television, I still mark the object terebi with o to say I'm watching it. But if I say, look over there, asoko ni mite kudasai, then I need a direction marker, not an object marker. So the direction, asoko, is marked with ni. Asking, kiku, this is the same verb as to listen. In fact, even the kanji is the same. But if we use kiku and we mark the person we're asking with ni, this changes the meaning from listening to asking. So if I say radio o kikimasu, this means I will listen to the radio. But if I say Tanaka sensei ni kikimasu, this means I will ask Tanaka sensei. But I need to mark Tanaka sensei with ni, not o. Meeting, as we already know, we can use ni or we can use to say meeting to somebody or meeting with somebody. It doesn't matter if you use ni or to. And teaching, oshieru, again, the subject that you're teaching will be marked with o, but the people you're teaching towards will be marked with ni. So, for example, to say, I taught geography to the students. Annika, do you want to try? I taught geography to the students. Simon, now you're remembering this, aren't you? Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
Geography is
Yes. Simon?
Chiri.
Chile.
Chile.
Chile. It's a South American country, and it also means geography. Chile.
Okay. Chile ni.
And not Chile ni. You're teaching a geography, so this is Chile.
O.
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 And then to the students.
Chile o. Students was Gakusei ni oshiemasu.
Oshiemasu. Good. Yes,
Oshiemasu.
exactly. Yeah. Saying, so not talking with hanasu. Hanasu we use to mark the person we're talking with, but to say something to somebody, you, this also needs ni to say who you're saying it to. So basically, any verb which requires a direction, we will use ni as the direction that we are doing it to. If we have existence verbs by themselves, just imas or arimas, then we can mark the location with ni. That's not a problem. If we're making time references like 3 o'clock or Tuesday, we always use ni. We never use we never use de, only use ni. Any questions, guys? Où est la discothèque? Okay, the problem comes when we start using the present continuous tense. So this means verb in the te form plus imas or plus iru. For example, ima, watashi ga minasan to hanashite imasu. Now I'm talking to you. Hanashite imasu. Actually, for the majority of cases, if we are using a doing verb here, then even in the present continuous tense, we should mark the location not with ni, but with de. Pour exemple, eki de matte imasu yo. Simon, this means?
I'm waiting at the station.
Good, I'm waiting at the station. Piotr, cafe de kohi o nondemasu.
I'm drinking coffee at the cafe.
Yes. And Annika, cafe de kohi o nonde imashita.
I drank coffee at the cafe.
Yeah, there's a subtle difference between I drank coffee and I was drinking coffee. Probably in German as well, there's a subtle difference. So this is actually, if it was I drank coffee, this would be cafe de kohi o nomimashita. But this is...
Yeah, I understand, but
Good. Okay, yeah. So this is I was drinking coffee at the cafe. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if this is the present tense, the present future tense, the present continuous tense, or the past progressive tense. I think this is called. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but we still mark the location with de. So to be absolutely clear, the fact that imas is included in these sentences does not impact the particle you use for the location. It's this verb here that tells you which particle to use. So it's a little bit more complex than just saying, this is imas, therefore I need to use ni. This isn't the case. We should use de for the majority of cases, except of course for the exceptions, and there are some exceptions. So we have to look at this verb and ask ourselves which one should we use. The ones which use ni include suaru and tatsu, to sit and stand. The reason for this is these are instantaneous verbs. So we might be sitting for a long time, but I'm not going through the process of sitting down for a long time. This happens in a moment. So in this case, because it's an instantaneous verb, I can mark the room that I'm sitting in or the chair that I'm sitting in with ni. And this applies to the present tense and present continuous and past tense. Basically, we treat this as a destination verb, a little bit like I'm going to the chair and I'm sitting in the chair. We'll both use ni. Sonzai suru, this is just basically a different way of saying arimasu, to exist. Actually, you can use this for imasu as well. Sonzai suru just means exist. But again, as this is an existence verb, this needs us to use ni. Like the knights that say ni.
Iki bedenk. Whoa.
I'm surprised when people actually have managed to memorize this. It tells me that they don't get out enough. Sumu, to live at or to reside at. This is also basically a kind of existence verb, and whether it's in the present tense or the future tense or the past tense, we use ni. So, for example, to say that I live in Sweden, Simon?
Sweden ni sundeimasu.
Yes, good. Sweden ni sundeimasu. Motsu. Now, you may recognize this meaning to hold something. It's actually got two meanings. If I say keitai o motteimasu, this means I'm holding a phone. I'm holding a phone. And this is an active verb. So to say I'm holding a phone in my room, this would be heia de keitai o motteimasu. So I'm currently actively holding a phone. Heia de keitai o motteimasu. However, motsu has another meaning, to mean to own. We don't usually use this for things that we can hold, so this will include things like houses or cars, and might refer to a house or a car that might be in a different country. You can still use the word motteimasu to mean to own. But if we're using this own translation of the verb motsu, then we need to use the location ni. It becomes a kind of stative verb. It refers to our status rather than something we're actively doing. So, Piotr, to say I own a house in Paris, you'd say
Hari ni ie o mot motteimasu.
Yes, good, exactly. Pari ni ie o mottemasu. Kyou wa Piotr no koe wa suggoku fukai da. Naze daro?
Fukai.
Deep.
Mm. Nothing. I've been preparing for my exam tomorrow.
Ah, what exam is that?
ちょうど4段.
Is it a verbal exam?
We have to verbalize some parts of the exam, yes.
Ah, right, like 8 and hop.
Yes.
But this shouldn't be deep voice. This should be 8 and hop. Like this.
Have you heard me in Linz a couple of years back?
Was it like Susie from Germany?
It's a bit higher.
Oh wow, that's impressive. I'm surprised the Windows survived.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know why. Sorry.
Been eating lots of peanut
Maybe
butter.
I'm just using a different microphone.
Oh, it's very, very sexy.
Uh,
Tomorrow. Let's move on. Tomorrow, to stay. This means like to stay temporarily at a hotel. Again, we mark the location with ni. And we don't tend to use these in the present continuous tense, really, or even mark the location. But to live, ikiru, or shinu, to die, again, we should mark the location with ni. So to say, John is dead in Kyoto, Annika? John is dead in Kyoto. Funny thing to say, I know, but
ジョンさんは京都に、死んでいます。
yeah, exactly. Shindeimasu. Good. So the summary is, if we're actively doing something, then this would probably use de. But if we're talking about the existence or the status of something or someone, then use ni. Avez-vous de questions, mes enfants?
ね。
Piotr, dozo.
So just to be clear, basically, whether it's in the continuous or in the present or in the regular tense, it all comes down to the verb we're talking about, not the
Right. Not the tense.
yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that because the first time we were talking about this, I wasn't watching because I was cooking, and does that also mean that basically with the particle that goes with a given verb does not change at all, whether it's continuous or not?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the confusion was merely in the presence of imas and not using a specific particle.
Hi.
Okay.
So it's-
Check.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was basically the root of this slide, was that I had taught everybody before that if it's the present continuous tense, the location is always marked with ni, because it had imas at the end, but this is not the case. We have to look at the verb, the thing that we're actually doing, to determine whether or not it's ni or de. Yeah. 間違えて教えてしまって申し訳ございません。
It's okay. Here's your tanto.
Thank you. Hey, jump. Oh shit. No, what's it called? No seconds to chop my head off. I'll just have to smash my head against the desk until I lose consciousness. There isn't a huge amount of information on the internet about this, but this website here was the best one. In fact, this entire slide is made up from content of this, if you want to have a look. In fact, 8020japanese.com is a pretty good website for Japanese grammar, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Okay, let's do a quick few exercises, shall we?
80/20 was referring to the learn 80% of the language in 20% of the time, and then the last 20% take 80% of the time, right? Is that 80/20?
I don't know. Is that? I just found this website and used it.
Okay, cool.
Let me
Works.
send you the link there rather than have to write it down. Just a second. So you are Annika, Simon.
I checked it out. It's quite nice. It's tends to be a bit long, the articles, but you can skim
Yeah,
through it
yeah.
and take the important bits, and it's really well structured.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, it's quite refreshing to have a Japanese website which isn't written by people who have just basically learned Japanese from Japanese people who are just students like us, which is what some of the websites are. So, oh, my sensei told me to do this. It's like, then should you be writing a website about it? Right, let's do some examples. And as this is the super advanced, super smart genius group, we should be able to get through these pretty quickly.
Herp-a-derp.
Skomkompa.
Pardon, mais mon chat est sous mon voiture. Right, Annika. Hannah is at the airport right now. Shall we go and meet her? Start with a bit of
Right.
beer. Hang on, have a little sip of
Yeah.
beer first, because this will help, definitely. Go on, quick
Okay.
mouthful of Asahi.
Mhm.
Trust me, you'll feel much better after this.
Anai à l'aéroport maintenant.
Tadaima, Hana-san wa kuku
Cool. Yeah, good. Cool.
ni arimasu.
She's
Imasu,
still alive.
yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, good. We go meet her.
That's the thing, I don't remember. No matter how often we
That's right.
talk about it.
That's right. Let's have a little mini lesson now, because we actually did this with the other group as well, is to break these up. So there are 2 or 3 key sentences I want you guys to try and memorize and keep fresh. So the first one is let's go and blah 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 blah, something, verb. So if we did a literal translation of this, we could simply say, for example, let's go and, e.g., let's go to the sushi restaurant, and let's just make this kind of weird, drink a beer. Okay. So you could do this in a standard kind of sequential way. You could say sushiya, which means sushi restaurant, ni itte biru o nomimashou. Okay, this is fine. If you're in any doubt, this is absolutely fine. This is using the te form to make an and then. Go to the restaurant and then drink beer. This is fine. But you can, sorry, the meaning of this original sentence, the nuance is that you're going for the purpose of drinking beer. A little bit like, Simon, how would you say, for the purpose of drinking beer, let's go to the sushi restaurant? For the benefit.
Biru o nomu tame ni ikimashou.
Yeah,
Or
so
something.
sushi ni ikimashou. Perfect, yeah. This is also fine. But actually, this becomes, this part here is really contracted down to biru o nomi ni sushi ni ikimashou. So we make this into the mass form of the verb for any type of verb, whether it's group 1, group 2, or 3. This becomes the mass form. We remove the mass and put ni, and then we can have ikimashou in here. Or in fact, we can have any movement verb here. Next bit I want us to make sure we make a clear distinction from is something we covered in the beginners group this week, which is to try something. This means to kind of to experiment, to sample. Let's keep this clean, Piotr. I know what you're thinking. What?
I feel offended.
So, for example, let's this includes verbs like taste some food, sip some booze, go and have a look at something. It can be all these things where we think let's go and have a look. Let's go and watch a bit of that film. Let's taste this bit of food. Let's drink a bit of this wine. To try it out, to sample something. This is, as I'm sure some of you know, we put the verb that we're kind of doing into the te form. Let's try. I will taste this pufferfish. Don't do it. Don't do it. Would be kono fugu, or, and then we put the eat into the te form. Tabete mimasu. Then we use mimasu to mean to see. So I will eat it and see. This means to sample something. So Simon, how would you say? No, sorry, Piotr, how would you say? I tried some German beer. It was terrible.
Oh, come on. ドイツのビールを、飲んでみました。が
exactly.
ひどいでした。
It was one more time.
悪いでした。Sorry. ひどい is horrible, but in the sense, in a
ひどい
different sense, I think.
ひどい is fine, but needs to be the past
Oh,
tense.
sorry. ひどかったです。
Yes, ひどかったです。Good. Yeah. Good.
Sorry, Annika. I don't mean it.
Annika, how would you say?
I don't do it.
I tried to speak Polish, but it sounds stupid. I much prefer teaching in these smaller groups. You can get really personal with people.
Polski. I don't know.
Mine now. Mine. This is Polandigo.
Yeah. Polandigo. Hanashite mimashita. Ga. Tanoshsasu desu.
No. That's enjoyable. Speaking Polish isn't enjoyable. It's like a sort of self-torture. It's like masochism. Actually, as guys, this is an extra little bit of Japanese this evening, as it's such a small group. You're aware of the stative verbs mieru, to be able to see, and kikoeru, to hear. You know these, don't you? So these are basically a kind of passive sort of verb, and you can use an adjective turned into an adverb with this verb to say it sounds like or it looks like. So, for example, it sounds stupid if you put, so what's stupid, Annika? Baka. And then what's the adverb stupid? How do you adverbalize an adjective?
Bakare.
Not ne,
Baka.
but no. You're on the right lines with there, but it's not there. It's if it's not there, it might be the other kind of location marker. Bakani. So we'd say bakani, and then kikoemas means it sounds stupid. How about dozo?
But the past tense. Kikoemashita.
Kikoemashita, yes, good. Yeah. So Simon, how would you say? Let's not pick on Piotr. Annika looks very skillful. Oops, sorry. Skillful. We'll leave it at that.
アニカさん、とても上手に見えます。
Yes, good. アニカさんはとても上手に見えます。So she looks very skillful.
Right. 上手に. Right, it's also
Yeah.
adverb. Yeah.
Piotr, how would you say that sword looks very easy to use? So you could use swordes in this, but I'll explain the difference between swordes and miemas.
So, 刀は let's see, uses 使う、使いやすいに
Sky,
No.
yes. Hang on. Tsukai, yasu, and now this knows to be into the adverb.
安く
Yep.
Really? Oh,
Yep.
Jesus. 使いやすく、見えます。
Yes, good. Okay, good. Now, guys, all three of you speak multiple languages. Can you guess what the difference is between ano katana wa sky sukai yasu swordes and sky yasuku miyamasu? Take a guess.
Swordes seems easy to handle,
Yeah.
and the other one says that it looks because of.
Like literally
Yeah.
looks, as in its
Mhm.
physical appearance makes it look like it is easy to use.
Yes.
Whereas the other one gives the impression
right.
of being easy
Yeah. This
to
one is
use.
this one is the impression, and this one is the visual signal.
Oh, wait. Oh,
It's actually the other way around.
fuck.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, who knew? Who knew? I mean, to be honest, what's the difference in terms of your subjective experience? What's the difference between these two? Not that much, really.
So is it in that sense also more like the second version? Skayasu Sodes is a bit more your personal experience of having seen the visual signal, or because the other one actually says the thing is
Looks,
seen as, or is can be seen as.
Yeah. So the miemas is much more the subjective impression, and this is the one which is more likely to be a lie or incorrect. Yeah. In fact, by saying this, you're implying there's a possibility that it's not true. Yeah. Cool.
So, 先生は頭がいいのよく見えます。
そうね。でも
Nothing.
本当はすっ
よ
ごくバカだよ。
よくんです。
まあね。Yeah. Okay. Where were we? All right. Actually, that's all I wanted to just kind of get through was these two main ones. So let's go and do something. Is going to be this tabe ni ikimashou. In fact, tabe ni ikimashou should be your sample model sentence to remember for this. Tabe ni ikimasu. Tabe ni ikimasu. I mean, obviously you can't, if it was anything else, it would mean let's eat and then go. It can't be tabete ikimasu. This means let's eat here and then go. So it must be something else. Tabe ni ikimasu. Let's go and eat. And then te mimasu is going to be the try something. And this mimas, even though it means look, this can be applied to anything. It doesn't literally mean to look with your eyes. It means to experience. So, for example, let's just get rid of all this stuff for a second. did these points go hanashite mimashita? Let's see. What about I tried to use an Apple Mac, but they're useless. I know this isn't true. I like to stir the fire of the debate. Annika, I tried to use an Apple Mac. Oh no, you did the Poland. Simon. By the way, I think Apple Mac in Japanese is just called a Maku, possibly.
Maku o tsukatte he tried mimashita.
Yep.
Yeah. Useless. And not heta, but something similar.
Okay, so for this kind of situation, you could use it is unusable. It is unusable. So this is close, but this means it is not used. Unusable suggests potential, doesn't it?
Sky nai.
Oh, good. Sky nai thing.
Mono. This.
Perfect. Exactly this.
Okay.
This is just a second. Let me just pause recording a second. Sky nai mono da. Even this example, let's go and have a look at this movie. Piotr.
Let's see. Would that be mini ikimasho?
So this actually doesn't literally mean let's go. It means let's have. I mean by this, let's. Sorry, let me write this again. Let's have a quick look at this movie. This means again sampling, right?
この映画を見てみましょう。
Perfect. So I know that this looks sure. I know this looks weird because you've got miru, and then you've got miru, but it doesn't matter. You can do this. You can do this. In fact, I believe this, without checking really quickly, this mimasho is not written with the kanji. To imply this means to try something, you should only write this in hiragana. Yeah, if you're literally watching something, therefore this miru should be written in kanji to literally mean look, but this one should be just written in hiragana to say that we're not literally meaning looking, we're saying trying something else. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Okay, that was a big diversion. Let's go back to this one. Annika.
会いに行きましょう。
It's a kind of question, isn't it?
ましょうか?
Yeah, exactly, yes. 会いに行きましょうか? Good. Simon. At 4 p.m, let's watch the travel TV program in the living room.
4時午後
So it's actually yoji. Yoji go.
4時午後 living room 部屋 not something.
So actually, this is confusingly living room. You can either say living room, but the actual Japanese word is confusingly ima.
Yeah.
うん。
今で
Good.
旅行 the program, I forgot the TV program.
Can anybody remember program?
It was something similar to Bango, I think. But
Bangumi.
Bangumi.
So, Ryoko no Bangumi.
Yeah,
Or-
Ryokon. No. So best to put this in Terebi Bangumi.
見てましょ
Yeah, this is fine.
mi-
Or just
Mimashou.
Mimashou. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, cool. Well done. Piotr, I was studying geography on the train every day last week, but I often fell asleep.
Saishu.
Senshu.
Senshu. Sorry, what's Saishu?
Saishu, last final week of your life is your
Ah,
Saishu.
yeah, let's not do that. Senshu. Senshu mainichi densha on the train. That would be densha de,
Good.
I'm assuming.
Yep.
Chiri o benkyou shimashita ga. Sorry, I was studying. Benkyou shite imashita ga.
Good.
Yoku.
Mhm.
Let's see. Fall asleep is not neru, but it's
Actually, I know that you think it used neru, but nemuru, but neru is fine.
neru is fine.
Yeah.
Ga yoku nemashita.
Do you know how to add some unintentionality into this?
Yeah. That's the one you just said before being handed the tanto.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the te form, and then with the shimaimashita. Nete shimaimashita.
Perfect. Shimaimashita. Is everybody familiar with this te shimao form? Annika? Simon?
I went through it last week. Yeah,
Ah,
I
okay,
wrote
good.
it down, but I wouldn't have remembered.
Okay. Annika, do you know this one? Okay. Have you got AE Dict on your phone, Annika? Okay, have a look at shimao. Shimao. And it's the first entry. And it gives a few. Is there only a Japanese to English version of this, or are you looking at a German version?
I'm doing all this in Japanese, English.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
So the first entry says to finish, to stop, to end. You can see that. Yeah. And put away, to keep, to store, to do, complete, to finish. It's the last one actually that we're going to look at now, which is to do accidentally, to do without meaning to happen to do. So it means kind of with some sense of regret or some sense of not being in control. So this is shimao. We basically make any verb into the te form first, and then we put shimao after it. So as Piotr did, neru became nete, and then shimao in the past tense, shimaimashita. I kind of accidentally fell asleep.
But you assume I regret falling asleep while learning on the train. You see, this is where your assumptions take you the wrong way.
Well, it's the but that I thought might actually add a kind of contrast to the tone of the sentence. Yeah.
So it should have been and I often fell asleep.
So this, yeah. Benkyou shimashite nete nemashita, which means I was studying and it was so nice I fell asleep.
And then yoku nemashita means
Yoku
I slept
nemashita.
well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because of the fantastic study I was doing. Yeah, exactly this. So, Simon, how would you say? Let's see. David Bowie sadly died.
David Bowie's son, Shinde Shimashita.
Shimaimashita. Yeah, exactly. Shinde Shimaimashita. Okay, good. Okay. Was Piotr. So
on a side note, I'll be off in a couple of minutes. It's it's Nording time.
No, what's that? Was ist das?
Dice.
Dice. Okay. You're doing it online?
Yeah, we have a group of mostly Dutchies, but on Discord. Yeah.
Right. Maybe you can play in Japanese. Okay. Annika, which restaurant should we eat at this evening? The pizza restaurant looks fun.
Kono yoru.
So this would be Konya.
Konya. Konya. Restauranto.
Which though?
Which None.
That means what restaurant? Is there a way of saying which to talk about a selection? You're picking one of them.
Mm.
It's also an honorific.
It is, yeah. Nobody says it to me though. Kore is this. Sore is that. Are is that over there. Dore is which, right? But you can't use this, if you're going to say dore, you can't put a noun after it. To make this fix itself to a noun, you need to do what?
Dono.
Dono. Good.
Dono.
Good.
Dono restaurant. De.
Good.
Tabemashoka.
Good.
Kono pizza restaurant.
Let's use Japanese word to say pizza. Yeah.
Pizza, yeah. What Tanosh Sodes?
Sorry,
Or
right,
was
you're
it-
right. You're right. You're right. Should be one.
Wa, but it
Tanosh.
was Sassodes?
Oh no.
No,
As you did.
Tanosh Sodes.
Perfect. Good.
And Sasso means
You can only use this for negatives
okay.
and e. So if you want to say it looks good, this would be yosaso. And then if you wanted to say it doesn't look good, yokunai becomes yokunasa so desu.
But in the exercise with all the adjectives, we had looks like, and the other one.
Oh, tanoshi
Yes.
so desu. It sounds. I heard it's fun.
Yes.
That's tanoshi so desu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard. This was I heard it. No, I heard it looks. Well, it is fun.
Yeah, this would be
okay.
tanoshi so desu. So you actually make the whole e adjective, including the final e. Tanoshi so desu instead of just tanosh so desu. Yeah. Oui, Simon, which restaurant should we go and eat at this evening? I heard that the sushi restaurant is delicious. Looks like a similar question, but subtly dangerously different. Sasatsuka desu.
今夜どのレストランで、食べに行きましょうか?
食べに行きましょうか? Good.
寿司屋が、美味しいそうです。
Good. Yes. 美味しいそうですね. Good. 今夜どのレストランで? Or ni, actually. So for this, in these cases, because this can be which restaurant are we going to eat at, or which restaurant are we going to eat at, we can use ni or de in these cases. Where we've got something ni ikimasho, you can use ni or de, doesn't matter. Pyeongtaek, last moment to have a try. When I was 25, I lived in Morocco, but I live now in Seattle.
I think I did this one last week or last time.
Let's do Chiba Sensei then. Chiba Sensei, something, blah, 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 blah,
Chiba
blah.
Sensei wa asoko no oki isu ni suwatte imasu.
Good.
隣に座りませんか?
座りませんか? Excellent.
Then we had the entire explanation about tonari and the others. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
this was the correct one.
Yeah, this is correct. Let's
Okay.
now take a diversion out of this for a second then, and do this, because this will lead us into today's listening exercise. Did you do this last week, Simon, Annika? Tonari,
Yeah.
soba, etc.?
Yes.
Okay. So, Simon, would you like a little extra challenge?
Oof.
So I'm sorry.
He has
I'm
no
going to say
choice.
goodbye.
お疲れ様でした。
Thank you very
またね。
much. See you
Bye.
soon.
大きい竜を殺すために気をつけてください。
I will be careful when crossing the large river.
大
Flo,
きい
what?
大きい竜 is dragon を
Ah,
殺すとき。
killing. Hi.
Yeah. Be careful when killing big dragons.
Hi.
金の
Good night.
金の方が危ないよ。
No.
金色の方が危ないよ。
Be careful of what is gold.
Gold dragons are the most dangerous.
Are they?
No, the chromatic dragon,
Yeah,
Diamat is
exactly.
probably.
The metallic are like good a lot. Anyway.
Yeah.
Bye,
Tiamat
fellow
or Gilskete,
nerds.
Jenna. See, I've got all this information stored in here from like 40 years ago, and it's fucking useless. I can't use it.
There's a lot of that kind of knowledge around.
Yeah, it's like song lyrics from when you're a teenager. It's like I can still remember all these songs, and there's absolutely no use. And I can't remember where I put my car keys. Silly,
You
isn't
mean
it?
D&D knowledge is useless?
If you don't play D&D these days, yes, it's useless.
You can use it maybe sometime.
If you play D&D, yeah. I don't get invited to those sort of parties, though, Annika. Yeah. I'm a
At the
bad
moment
loser,
it's
actually.
Among Us.
Is it? Well, maybe I'll try and join someone somewhere. Okay. Right. So, Simon, as your little extra exercise. So there's 4 ways to talk about proximity. There's tonari. Let's do this in the proper things. Tonari ni. And actually, it doesn't need me. Let's leave that off. Tonari. Soba. Yoko. And would you like to explain to Annika in the language of your choice, doesn't have to be English, what the speciality is of each of these words, if you remember?
Am I allowed to use my cheat sheet here?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, because I wrote some of that down. So tonari, we just use and Piotr just used it, and it's next to something but of a similar type. So if it's next to me, it has to be a person. If it's next to a book, it has to be another book. It cannot be another completely different object. And it's right next to it. So it's the space right next to, you know, I mean, me, myself, or the object you're referring to. Then soba was the more general one, just in the vicinity, but it can also be a bit further away, not just next to.
So it can be, it's like 360 degrees around you, isn't it? It can be next to you or in front of you or behind you. Yeah.
Just sort of close around. Yeah. Then yoko literally means side, right? So that has to be right at the side. But if I remember correctly, it can be anything, and it also can be any distance. So like it doesn't have to be the same type. It can be a book next to a person or whatever, and it can also extend further out, like this. And then what you need, I have to check. So this one is very close. I wrote down. It has to be very close, but I think it can be very close anywhere around.
It's only left or right, actually.
Only left or right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. I wrote side. Yeah.
Really good.
So with Yoko Chiburi to the side, and Wakikamai maybe to next.
Exactly. Just next to you. So these, let me just make some quick notes. Unobstructed and same type. That's the 3 regulations for tonality, wasn't it? Soba was 360 degrees. Close. That's the only regulation. Yoko is left or right. Any distance can be obstructed. And Waki was left or right. really close.
But yoko also means horizontal, right? I mean, something that is flat like that.
Yeah,
It's not-
it means
just-
side. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It means sideways. So, for example, if I take this phone, 今この携帯は立っています。今横にしています。
Mm.
Yeah.
So obstructed means.
So, for example, this tonari, like Simon said, it needs to be kind of next to you. It can be a little bit far away, but there can't be another thing between me and that other thing. So, for example, if there was, I'll just quickly do a quick drawing just to help. If there was me and Simon and Piotr, so that's A-S-P. Simon is tonari to me, but Piotr is not tonari to me. But both of these guys are yoko to me. Yeah, they're to my side. And also, if this is Annika with hair. Why did I do that? Oh, because it can be either side, left or right. Yeah. So you said waki gamai, which means to have it right by your side. These is called, your armpits are called your waki shita. So waki is actually this part of your body, it's your flank. It's that close. So waki shita means your side unders. So if you said to somebody, be on my waki, it really means stick close to me, to my left or my right, constantly. Waki ni, yeah.
So Simon is waki to you, but Piotr not.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And everybody's yoko to me.
Yeah.
Even Piotr, who's obstructed and far away. And
he's not sober.
He's never sober.
Okay.
So if Michael is in front of me, Michael is only sober. He's neither tonari, yoko, or waki in this case. He's only sober, he's only close. Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes for sober, we have this other word, which is chikaku. Chikaku, which also means close. But soba, chikaku refers to the distance between you and somebody else, whereas soba means the area, literally the area around you. They use both in exactly the same ways. It's just that chikaku is a consideration of distance. Soba is the consideration of being in the actual area. Watashi no soba ni means the area around me. Watashi no chikaku means the distance from me. Yeah. Okay. So I think let's do this YouTube exercise. It's a bit more interesting than the written exercise. If we've got time at the end, we'll do the written exercise. So this thing we're going to watch now is basically what Simon has just explained, but you're going to hear it explained by a Japanese person. So you know what she's talking about, but I want you to try and pick up on what she's explaining and how she's explaining it. That's going to be the focus. Give me just a second. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to get it set up. Try and relax, guys, a little bit. Just sit back. Try not to get hooked on any particular word because you'll end up being left behind. Try and listen passively. Have a beer. Have a glass of wine. Where's your booze, Simon?
Actually, I have a bit of a cold, so I didn't.
Brandy is best for that.
Yeah.
From a St. Bernard's dog in the mountains.
Take a sip of whiskey, and then everything is fine.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, here we go. Oh, not that. Sorry. Hang on. Can you see this YouTube video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works.
皆さんこんにちは。日本語教師の手塚です。今日は横 隣、そば、脇の違いを考えたいと思います。まず、こんな文を見てください。彼は
Let's just quickly look at that before she explains it. 横に立っている、隣に立っている、そばに立っている、脇に立っている。
彼は私の横に立っている。彼は私の隣に立っている。彼は私のそばに立っている。彼は私の脇に立っている。この違いがわかりますか？ここで大切なのは点か線か距離が近いかです。
So just to explain what she just said, because it's quite useful. Let's listen to that bit again. Actually, she's talking about these things. Ten means point, but it means position. Sen means line, and chikai means close, proximity. Let's listen again to what she said.
ここで大切なのは点か線か距離が近いかです。このポイントを頭に入れて4つの言葉の違いを考えましょう。
横。
横は左右の線です。左右に伸びる横線、すべての位置が横になります。ですから、彼は私の横に立っているというとき、間に何人いても、距離が遠くても、同じ種類じゃなくても、横と言えます。例えば、横一列に並んでください。学校の横に書店がある。他にも、向きや長さを表すこともできます。
Muki, facing, nagasa, length. These yoko can be used to represent both the direction of facing and the length of something.
船が大きく横に揺れる。彼女は横を向いた。横10センチ、縦8センチの布など、横は左右の線だと覚えてください。隣は左右の点です。横線の間に初めてあるものです。注意しなければならないのは、人と人、建物と建物など同じ種類のもの2つだけです。ですから、彼は私の隣に立っているというとき、距離が遠くても同じ種類で間に誰もいなかったら隣と言えます。例えば、日本の隣に韓国がある。隣の駅で降りましょう。私の隣に座っている人はサラさんだ。このように、隣は左右の点だと覚えてください。
Amen.
そばは小さい円です。隣、横と違って横である必要はありません。360度近いところならどこでもいいです。ですから、彼は私のそばに立っているというとき、縦でも斜めでも手が届くぐらい近かったらそばと言えます。例えば、家のそばを通ったらカレーの匂いがした。机のそばに野球道具が置いてある。駅のそばにある店に行こう。このように、そばは小さい円だと覚えてください。脇は左右の短い線です。そばよりももっと近く、そして左右にあるのが脇です。ですから、彼は私の脇に立っているというとき、左右の線で距離がすごく近いところという意味です。すごく近い横とも言えます。例えば、荷物を脇に置く。彼はすぐ脇にやってきた。司会者の脇に記録係が座る。このように脇は左右の短い線だと覚えてください。ここまで横、隣、そば、脇の違いを考えましたね。 では、チェックしてみましょう。これから写真が出てきます。写真を見て A と B どちらの言葉がふさわしいか選んでください。では始めましょう。
Okay, I can't see you guys, so you need to unmute yourself to speak. These people, is this tonari or yoko ni narande aruku? Narande aruku. Annika?
Walking next to each other.
Yeah. So should it be tonari or yoko?
Tonari, because the same, people walking next to each other.
Okay.
So it's the
Simon?
same.
Yeah, I mean, it's Yoko because it's a line of multiple people, right? Because tonari cannot be. Tonari is only the next right over, but if you talk about all of them, it's a continuous line.
Right. Yeah. So they're lined up walking. So the relationship between this guy on the left and this guy on the right, this has to be yoko because it cannot be tonari, can it? This guy is tonari to this one, but this guy is not tonari to this one. So if you're talking about the group in general, then this must be yoko. Let's see.
Tonari は左右の点2つだけです。左右の線の上にたくさんいますから B、横が正しいです。
Okay. Skue no soba or yoko ni shorui means documents ga aru. Skue no soba ka yoko ni shorui ga aru. Simon, do you want to go first this time?
This is soba. It's all around him,
Good.
but close.
Yeah. And Annika?
Yeah, so
Good.
左右だけではなく、いろいろな場所に散らばっていますから、A、そばが正しいです。
カバンの隣か脇に猫がいる。So this is saying カバン, this is her bag, の隣 or 脇に猫 cat がいる。Annika, what do you think?
Wacky, because different things, the bag and the cat.
Okay, and Simon?
Yes. Plus, it's close.
Yeah.
I mean, it's both different things and really close on the side.
Good.
カバンの右のすぐ近くに、カバンとは違う種類、猫がいますから、B、脇が正しいです。
What is she saying there when she says B is correct? Tadashi.
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 Yeah, this means correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a particle and then tadashi. Okay.
Yeah. Let's just hear what she said again. Yeah.
カバンとは違う種類、猫がいますから、B、脇が正しいです。
脇が正しいです。Do you want to try reading this actually? Annika, can you read? Do you know this kanji?
No.
Simon?
Onna. That's onna.
Yeah. This one?
Kid. Onna.
Yeah, good. Onanoko. Yeah, so even though it doesn't have no between it, this is still read as either onanoko or joshi. And then, yeah. This
Joshi no. And that one is the, I don't know. I can't read that.
This one's tonari. This one's tonari.
Okay, that's one. Tonari. Soba. Ni.
Yeah.
And that one is Power of the Rice Field.
Very good. Yes. Good.
That's a man, right?
Yeah, good. That's
Kid,
otoko.
basically.
Otoko noko. Yeah, good.
Otoko no ko ga iru.
Very good. Very good. So what's the answer here? Ona no ko no either tonari or soba ni otoko no ko ga iru. What do you think? Annika?
Tonari,
And Simon?
2 persons.
Yeah, tonari.
Yeah, good.
女の子のすぐ右に同じ種類の人、男の子が一人いるので、A、隣が正しいです。いかがでしたか？横、隣、そば、脇の違いがわかりましたか？どれも似たような表現ですが、少しずつイメージが違いましたね。この違いを押さえて日本人のように使い分けてみましょう。メッシュクラスには他にも、ふ、ひ、み、むの違いなど。
Back to that another day. How was that, guys? Was that easy-ish to understand?
I mean, I think it was easier than the other one we did, but because the subject was somewhat simpler to understand, right? So I'm still missing a lot of words in what she's saying, but I'm getting more of what she means because it's a bit simpler.
Sure. Annika?
Like on a seminar, missing the vocabs, but through seeing it, what she's talking about helps to understand.
Okay.
Kind of. Not everything, but the right direction.
Sure. Let's watch the explanations again. We won't do the quiz again. Let's do the explanations again. And can I ask you this time to write down either the time at which they occur or the words or phrases that you hear when you think, I really don't know what this means. If you can guess roughly what it means, then don't worry, because I'm going to translate it for you anyway. But if you can just write down bits where you think, I think I know this, but I don't know. Okay, let's try. I'll try and keep the time clock displayed as well. Let me just do that. Here we go.
こんにちは、日本語教師の手塚です。今日は横、隣、そば、脇の違いを考えたいと思います。まずこんな文を見てください。彼は私の横に立っている。彼は私の隣に立っている。彼は私のそばに立っている。彼は私の脇に立っている。この違いがわかりますか？ここで大切なのは点か線か距離が近いかです。このポイントを頭に入れて4つの言葉の違いを考えましょう。
I've just realized there's a really good way you could torture answers out of a spy. You could play them that music to them for 24 hours and then
Let's try this.
横は
Sorry, what did you say?
Let's try this next time.
左右の線です。左右
Actually, that's a word you'll hear it a lot. Sayu. This means hidari miki. Sayu.
に伸びる横線、すべての位置が横になります。ですから、彼は私の横に立っているというとき、間に何人いても、距離が遠くても、同じ種類じゃなくても、横と言えます。例えば、横一列に並んでください。学校の横に書店がある。他にも、向きや長さを表すこともできます。船が大きく横に揺れる。彼女は横を向いた。横10センチ、縦8センチの布など、横は左右の線だと覚えてください。 隣は左右の点です。横線の間に初めてあるものです。注意しなければならないのは、人と人、建物と建物など同じ種類のもの2つだけです。ですから、彼は私の隣に立っているというとき、距離が遠くても同じ種類で間に誰もいなかったら隣と言えます。例えば、日本の隣に韓国がある。隣の駅で降りましょう。私の隣に座っている人はサラさんだ。このように、隣は左右の点だと覚えてください。そばは小さい円です。隣、横と違って横である必要はありません。360度近いところならどこでもいいです。ですから、彼は私のそばに立っているというとき、縦でも斜めでも手が届くぐらい近かったら、そばと言えます。例えば、家のそばを通ったらカレーの匂いがした。机のそばに野球道具が置いてある。駅のそばにある店に行こう。このように、そばは小さい円だと覚えてください。脇は左右の短い線です。そばよりももっと近く、そして左右にあるのが脇です。ですから、彼は私の脇に立っているというとき、左右の線で距離がすごく近いところという意味です。すごく近い横とも言えます。例えば、荷物を脇に置く。彼はすぐ脇にやってきた。司会者の脇に記録係が座る。このように、脇は左右の短い線だと覚えてください。ここまで横、隣、そば、脇の違いを考えましたね。では、チェックしてみましょう。
Okay. Okay. Anything that came up frequently, guys, that you didn't get?
The examples at 2 minutes and round about 10 seconds with a table and
Uh-huh. So these ones here. Sorry, let me share this with you. Okay. Let me do this section actually. How far back does it go? Just to here.
隣は左右の点です。
隣は左右の点です。So this is a position to the left or right.
横線の間に初めてあるものです。
So just repeat what she said back.
横線の間に、
横線の間に so on a sideways line between の間に横線 sideways line の間に between
初めてあるものです。
初めてあるものです。The first thing that is there on a horizontal line, on a sideways line. So it's the first thing that is next to you on a sideways line.
注意しなければならないのは、
注意しなければならない means the thing you must be careful of. So 注意する means to be careful of. Then 注意しなければならないもの means the thing you must be careful of.
人と人、建物と建物、
人と人 person to person 建物と建物 building and building.
Ah, okay. I was actually about to ask. Tatemono is building.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she just means the things must be the same. She'll use in a second. She'll use the word shurui. This means type or category.
など、同じ種類のもの2つだけです。
同じ種類もの2つだけです。So it must be two things of the same type only.
ですから、彼は私の隣に立っているというとき、距離が遠くても、
距離が遠くても even if the distance is far.
同じ種類で
Onaji shurui must be the same type.
間に誰もいなかったら
Aida ni darimo inakattara. Between you, there must be nobody.
隣と言えます。
Say to
例え
me,
ば、日本の隣に韓国がある。
for example, next to Japan is Korea.
隣の駅で降りましょう。
Tonari no eki de orimashou. So let's get off at the next station.
私の隣に座っている人はサラさんだ。
Watashi no tonari ni suwatteru hito wa Sara-san da. Person sitting next to me is Sara.
このように、隣は左右の点だと覚えてください。
So, kono yo ni tonari no ten wa? Sorry, what was she saying? Hang on.
座っている人はサラさんだ。このように、
Kono yo ni, in this style,
隣は左右の点だと覚え
sayu no ten da, tonari da to oboete kudasai. Please remember that tonari means the position to your left or your right.
てください。
Anything else, guys?
She said many times for soba, she said chisai n. I assume n is a circle or what?
Small circle. Yeah, exactly. Small circle. Exactly this.
And so I have two more things that sounded like I should understand, but I didn't. In the Yoko section at the beginning, she says somewhere onaji something. I didn't get that word.
Let's have a listen to it, shall we? In Yoko, right?
Yeah, in the first section, yeah.
Just here, I guess.
横は左右の線です。左右に伸びる横線。
Sayu ni nobiru yokosen. So nobiru means to extend. Sayu no nobiru yokosen. So this means a line which extends to your left or right.
Yeah.
すべての位置が横になります。
Subete no ichi ga yoko ni narimasu. So subete means all. Ichi means place. Not ichi as in one, just means place. Ichi.
ですから、彼は私の横に立っているというとき、間に何人いても、
Nanin ga ittemo, even if there are people between you.
距離が遠くても、
Kyori ga tokutemo, even if the distance is far.
同じ種類じゃなくても、
Onaji shurui janakutemo, even if the types are not the same.
横と言えます。
We say yoko.
例えば、
For example,
横一列に並んでください。
yoko ichiretsu ni narande kudasai. Yoko ichiretsu means a sideways line, so lining up this way. Yoko ichiretsu. If this was a row, a rank, like standing to somebody's back, this would be tatte ichiretsu. But standing side by side is yoko ichiretsu ni narande kudasai. Please line up side by side.
学校の横に書店がある。
There are
他
shops
に
next to
も向きや長さを表すこともできます。
This can also represent the direction of facing or the length.
船が大きく横に揺れる。
Fune ga okiku yureteru, I think she said, which means this is swaying side to side.
彼女は横を向いた。
Kanajo wa yoko ni muita. She's facing to the side.
横10センチ、縦8センチの布など、横は左右の線だと覚えてください。
Was it in there, Simon?
Yeah, I think it was the word for a style, a different type or category, or what did you say?
Shurui.
Shuri.
Yeah, let's find that bit where she says this.
Where you see the alien, yeah.
Yeah, let's have a look.
距離が遠くても、同じ種類じゃなくても、
Onaji shurui janakutemo, even if the types are not the same.
So also the same type. Okay, yeah. And Shuri is
Type or category.
and okay, yeah, good.
I think you can use it for species as well. Okay, any other bits that you didn't get, guys?
The part with the measurements of the
The cloth.
The rod.
yeah, Hasenju and
8 cm, 8 centimeters, and I think she said 8 cm yoko, which means
Okay.
8 centimeters sideways, and then something like 10 cm, 10 centimeters tate. So this would be the standing length, tate, like tachimasu. Tate.
okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Hasen, yeah. Yeah.
8
Okay.
cm, 10 cm, or whatever it was, 1 cm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you mind if we listen to it again now that there's bits which have been cleared up? Then what I hope for the TASOGARE class is, for example, I also found listening to this lesson for the first time quite challenging, that particular video. I really had to kind of listen, tune in, and then after watching it a few times, I could understand everything that she said. And basically why this is important to us in the TASOGARE class is that all of the grammar she's using, all of it, we have studied. So if there's any parts that you're not sure of, now's a good time to kind of say, that's what that means. And then this kind of is a good way of confirming all the stuff we've learned. So hopefully after a few listens, you can actually hear it all and go, wow, I understood everything.
The thing is not really the understanding, I think, but I understand quite much, but I can't say what she's saying in exact words.
That's fine.
So
you don't need to be, so for me to be able to say back to you
yes.
what she just said exactly, this is a stress for me as well. I can't do this perfectly. What's more important is that you can at least understand the meaning of what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to memorize the words. You don't need to be able to repeat them back. You don't even have to memorize which particle she used where. That's not important.
Yeah,
What's
I think
important
it's difficult to give what she's saying. So yeah, understanding is okay, but I can't tell you what she's exactly saying. So
I mean, in a live situation, if I'm translating at a seminar, I also cannot always exactly say exactly what the sensei said. I can understand what they say, and then I can say to people, this means
more like an interpretation, or
right, exactly this. Yeah, this is all that's important at the moment. To be able to identify exactly the words that she's saying. I can do that now, but I've had many more years of practice than you have. But what's important for you guys is to be able to say, I understood. I can almost passively sit back, mentally sit back and listen, and I get what she's saying. I know that we've already done the subject. That doesn't matter, because quite often you'll have conversations where you know what the context of this conversation is. So you don't need to be able to do this from zero. It's just being able to say, I understand what she means. Okay, let's give it a try.
こんにちは、日本語教師の手塚です。今日は横、隣、そば、脇の違いを考えたいと思います。まずこんな
So she said those four things, tonari, yoko, tonari, soba, waki, を考えたいと思います。を考えたいと思います。So what does this mean, Annika?
To consider?
Yeah, I'd like to consider. I'd like to consider exactly this. Sorry, give me a second. I'm just going to turn the lights on because it's beginning to get dark in here. Okay.
この文を見てください。彼は私の横に立っている。彼は私の隣に立っている。彼は私のそばに立っている。彼は私の脇に立っている この違いがわかりますか？
この違いがわかりますか？Simon?
Do you understand the difference?
Exactly this. Yeah. この違いがわかりますか？
ここで大切なのは点か線か距離が近いかです。このポイントを頭に入れて4つの言葉の
このポイントを頭に入れて。Annika?
Again, please.
Yeah, sure. このポイントを頭に入れて。Let me play the video back to you because if you watch her, you'll understand what she means. Atama means head, right?
Yeah.
線か距離が近いかです。このポイントを頭に入れて4つの言葉の違いを考えましょう。
Okay, how about now?
To get me 4 different points,
Mhm.
and we had to remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And chigai o kangaimashou. Again, she said.
To consider about the differences.
Perfect. Exactly this. Let's listen to it again.
近いかです。このポイントを頭に入れて4つの言葉の違いを考えましょう。
So she said, 4つの言葉. So these 4 words, 4つの言葉を 4つの言葉の違いを考えましょう. Let's think about the 4 differences of these 4 words.
横は左右の線です。左右に伸びる横線、すべての位置が横になります。ですから、彼は私の横に立っているというとき、間に何人いても、距離が遠くても、同じ種類じゃなくても、横と言えます。例えば、横一列に並んでください。学校の横に書店がある。他にも、向きや長さを表すこともできます。船が大きく
Sorry, this 表すこともできます. 表す means to represent. So you can also represent these other things is what she says. Let's just go back a bit because that's something I had to look up. 表す to represent.
横に書店がある。他にも向きや長さを表すこともできます。船が大きく横に揺れる。彼女は横を向いた。横10センチ、縦8センチの布など、横は左右の線だと覚えてください。隣は左右の点です。横線の間に初めてあるものです。注意しなければならないのは、人と人、建物と建物など同じ種類のもの2つだけです。ですから、彼は私の隣に立っているというとき、距離が遠くても同じ種類で間に誰もいなかったら隣と言えます。例えば、日本の隣に韓国がある。隣の駅で降りましょう。私の隣に座っている人はサラさんだ。このように、隣は左右の点だと覚えてください。そばは小さい円です。隣、横と違って横である必要はありません。360度近いところならどこでもいいです。ですから、彼は私のそばに立っているというとき、縦でも斜めでも手が届くぐらい近かったら、そば。
手が届くぐらい。手が届くぐらい。Let's hear this again.
縦でも斜めでも手が届くぐらい近かったら。
手が届くぐらい近かったら。
What's this? She points up and says tate something and then nana something down.
Naname means diagonal. Naname.
Oh.
Yeah.
So over it and something Ah.
Listen again in a second.
ですから、彼は私のそばに立っているというとき、縦でも斜め
Tatte demo. So basically, well, I mean, when she means above me, I think she means kind of like here in this position. So behind me, basically.
でも
Naname demo, or diagonally down here.
手が届くぐらい近かったら、
Tega todoku gurai chikakattara. Can you guess what this means?
Something reachable with your hands.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah, exactly this. Tega todoku. Todoku means to reach. So tega todoku gurai, approximately. Chikakattara, if they are that close. Tega todoku gurai chikakattara, if they are close enough that your hands can reach.
そばと言えます。
You can say soba.
例えば、家のそばを通ったらカレーの匂いがした。
家のそばに通ったらカレーの匂いがする。I think you said する。します。
例えば、家のそばを通ったら、
家のそばを通ったら if you walk past close to this house
カレーの匂いがした。
カレーの匂いがした。You can smell curry.
Or it was something with a wind.
風。this was カレー。カレーね。
言えます。例えば、家のそばを通ったらカレーの匂いがした。机のそばに野球道具が置いてある。
机のそばに野球道具。So this means equipment for baseball があります。
駅のそばにある店に行こう。
What does this mean? This is a fairly simple sentence.
Yeah, I mean next to the station, but I didn't understand what this, like the word that she's referring to then.
Okay, let's listen again.
に野球道具が置いてある。駅のそばにある店に行こう。
Misen.
店のそば。
Misen, a shop.
Sorry, I shouldn't say. I should say 駅のそばの店. Yeah, shop, exactly. に行きましょ
Yeah, I'm going to the shop next to the station.
or let's go to the shop in the station.
Yeah, right. Let's go.
Yeah.
このように、そばは小さい円だと覚えてください。
このように in this style 小さい円だと覚えてください. Please remember this as a small circle. 脇
は左右の短い線です。そばよりももっと近く、そして左右にあるのが脇です。ですから、彼は私の脇に立っているというとき、左右の線で距離がすごく近いところという意味です。すごく近い横とも言えます。例えば、荷物を脇に置く。
Let's do that again.
荷物を脇に置く。
荷物は脇に置く。Annika?
The luggage is next to.
Yeah, is placed next to. Oku
Yeah.
means to place.
So oku as in
Hi.
sen as well.
Sorry, one more time, Simon?
So oku as, but isn't it not the same as okuri, like to send?
No, this is a different word. So okuru means to send, but oku just means to place or to put.
彼はすぐ脇にやってきた。司会者の脇に記録係が座る。このように脇は左右の短い線だと覚えてください。ここまで横、隣、そば、脇の違いを考えましたね。では、チェックしてみましょう。
チェックしてみましょう。チェックしてみましょう。Let's try checking. Let's go to the end of the quiz and listen to the last part.
隣が正しいです。いかがでしたか？横、隣、 そば、脇の違いがわかりましたか？どれも似たような表現ですが、
Now, this is a bit fast. どれも似てる表現ですか? Which means whichever have got, let's listen to it again. 似たような表現. Wait a second.
隣、そば、脇の違いがわかりましたか？どれも似たような表現ですが、
どれも似た表現ですから. So どれも all of them. 似た, which means similar to 表現 expression. So all of these have got a similar expression, but
少しずつイメージが違いましたね。
少しずつ, each of 少しずつ, a little bit each, the different 違いがあります. There is a little difference between each of them. Let's listen to that bit again.
そば、脇の違いがわかりましたか？どれも似たような表現ですが、少しずつイメージが違いましたね。
Image が違います. The
この
image is
違いを抑えて日本人のように使い分けてみましょう。
different. Okay. A little bit easier to follow this way.
Coming along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just one small thing. Naka was means in between
Yes. Or inside.
inside. Okay.
Yeah.
And the kanji was this
Middle.
box with a.
Exactly, with a line through it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This means chu as in chudan, or naka as in inside. So it can mean middle or inside. Yeah. Yeah. I think really the most important thing now, guys, is that you're practicing your listening exercise, actually listening to a Japanese person instead of listening to me, because I can make it really, really easy. But to hear a really clearly spoken Japanese person is, I think, the next major step to developing our hearing.
Although I still feel like she is speaking a bit fast sometimes, especially when she's mushing a few words together to just quickly branch to the next important expression, and then I'm not getting any of the stuff in between.
Sure.
Fast,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, I think if you're only able to identify, for example, 1 in 10 keywords, then the rest of it does become mush. Obviously, the more keywords you pick up, the easier it is to say, right, I understood that keyword and that keyword, they're clearly different words. So then it becomes easier to kind of disentangle that mush. But it's it's going to be a bit of vocabulary development as well as grammar, isn't it, to get this? And also just getting used to hearing as well. She does like that last bit where she said, "Doremo niteru chiga something about them being hyogen desu ga." This for me was also like, fucking hell, what did she just say? She suddenly went from being fairly clear to suddenly this mush of words, and I had to listen to it a few times where I thought, now I can hear niteru hyogen, right? Similar expressions. Yeah. But slowly. I was really the Japanese for Busy People textbook that we use. It wasn't Japanese for Busy People. It was Shin Nihongo no Kiso, which is the textbook that I used when I was actually studying Japan. They came with some videos. VHS videotapes. I know it's that far back. And it had these sketches when Mr. Brown would be with Mrs. Tanaka looking at Mount Fuji from this place. And it was all this conversation stuff that we could use. But I'm going to look to see if we can find those sorts of things on YouTube. If you find anything, let me know, because these will be a little bit easier to follow than these kind of grammar explanations.
I bought the old textbook from the first Shin Nihongo no Kiso. But I found on YouTube the what is on the CDs or on the cassettes maybe. But it's not usable. They
Really?
have just some vocabulary, and they reading it and then okay. Then there are some parts with conversation, but I don't know. It's not usable.
Oh, okay. I'll have a look myself to see if I can find something that's usable.
And I have the textbook, but in Romaji, not, and maybe also in English, but
Yeah, I think textbook 1
I
is.
just
is
thought
all
I could
Romaji.
use it,
Yeah.
so I bought it, but difficult without everything.
I think Japanese for Busy People is actually on the shared drive. Actually, if you
Yes,
want to.
we had a PDF of a book.
Yeah, that's
Somewhere.
worth studying. Or I can send you scans out of my book 2. I mean, you guys are on book 2 now, really, for Japanese for Busy People. Book 1 is all Romaji. You really need to sort of use book 2, otherwise you're just going over old stuff. Yeah.
Today I was looking up some information about Skate, and I have the manual in Japanese.
Ah, good.
And it was just okay. Yeah, Skate I can read, but the rest was pretty difficult.
I mean, stick with it, because I mean that's one of the first books that I'd recommend people practice on.
The problems are the kanjis. I mean,
right.
hiragana, katakana, okay, but the rest is yeah.
If you know how to use Google Translate on your phone to do optical read, don't you?
Yeah, but it's horrible for Budo sentences. Like.
Yeah, but it's good for the individual words, though. If you see a kanji that you don't know, then it's a good way of looking up that. Just use that kanji. You're right. Don't read the whole paragraph because the sentences make no sense. But for the kanji, it's pretty good.
Okay, with Google Translate.
But then can you isolate one character?
Yeah. Let
Okay.
me.
Yeah, then it works. Yeah.
Yeah, I might be able to. Just a second. I might be able to do it on my phone actually. Hang on. I think I can see if this works. Just a second.
I've tried it a bit on Ishiro Sensei's Koryu book.
What? Once the altar has disappeared from the top,
Bless
you can turn
you.
it off. Okay. Is it still there? Okay. Right, just a second. So you were translating Ishido Sensei's Koryu manual. Oh, okay. Yeah, this it's also, apart from the kanji, the text itself is pretty easy. Let me just see if I can get
Which one is this?
Don't show it. Don't show her. Secret.
we talked about this I think last Keiko, and I was thinking about, okay, maybe I can have a look on it, even though I'm on
different
Ruichi Sensei's
foreign
life.
school. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
So we can share the screen.
It's also Musa Shinin.
It doesn't let me. Oh, screen. There we go. Maybe this will work. Okay. Let's see. Google.
Can you maybe silence the phone?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to silence my computer and go onto my phone completely. Okay, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Share. Screen. Start now. Okay, so I'm going to go to Google Translate. And then if you go camera, some text, and I use the referee's manual. So I wouldn't use the instantaneous translation, I would use the scan function. Let's use, probably not got enough hands to do this. So click on scan, the middle button, and then find a bit of text that you use. So for example, that top line, let's scan that. Press the button, there's a scan. And then I'm going to take that word just there. Then, so tell me the instant translation. If you want to know the actual kanji itself, click on the arrow in the blue box next to the mission is, and then it takes you to the actual words.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty useful, huh?
That's
Mhm.
nice. The only problem is it doesn't. Can you go back again to the scan?
Yeah, I think you have to, I think it then clears the page. Yeah,
Mm.
you have to rescan, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. But if you've got like a couple of words that you're not sure, then that's pretty handy. You can see the sort of things I've been scanning before. How are you, my little water something? I think it was a water mouse or something.
Yeah. Something in Polish.
Also delicious with strawberries.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, guys, let's call it a day. Have a nice weekend. 良い週末を。お疲れ様でした。
ありがとうございます。
はい
またね。
またね
またね
気をつけて。じゃあね。
バイ。
バイ。